Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I am wanting to bring up this question today of, would you rather be spending 8 sessions working on your trauma recovery or spending 8 years talking about the same thing on your counselor's couch every time you go for a meeting? And the reason I'm putting this question out there is because a lot of the ladies, well, all of the ladies that I work with or I have worked with so far have, and this is my background as well, have previously come from trying to resolve trauma with talking therapies. And I want to just bring it to everybody's mind because that how this isn't the right approach, in my belief, for trauma recovery. So my name's Anna Rushmer. I'm a hypnotherapist and wellbeing coach, and I specialise in trauma recovery. And the reason I specialise in that is because that is exactly the journey that I've taken to, actually living my purpose now and doing the job that I do now. So my background is healing from childhood sexual abuse, the trauma and the kind of after effects of all of that. So the massive impacts that had within my life. Now, I had previously, because I didn't know much about other therapies that were out there, which is why I want to educate on this point. I had previously tried counselling, talking therapies for my symptoms. I didn't even massively realise that I was traumatised, if I'm honest, back in the day. We're going back 15 years now. And all these people were incredibly well-meaning, of course. I tried counselling, I tried medication. Everyone was trying to help me, but I could never find the key to what I needed to heal. Now, the reason when we have deep-rooted trauma, the reason talking therapies are either going to take, essentially they're not ever going to get to the root cause, okay, but you will be in talking therapy for a long space of time. Whereas if we actually find the therapy that is absolutely right in terms of how we are going in to find those trauma points and how we're then releasing them, we can release and resolve the trauma and all of those after effects. Now, obviously, everybody is different, so I could never say and would never say I will definitely be able to get you to this point in, however many sessions. But when we get to that root cause and we get to that, so where that root cause lies, we can absolutely start to resolve this. And, my life is living testament of that. I went from feeling like I was in survival mode completely, feeling desperate, feeling broken, to actually having the life that I, always wanted, always desired, this happiness, this harmony, this kind of joyful life. Everybody has stuff that comes up now and then, but to move from that place of desperation to where I am now, this is why I talk so much about how powerful any therapy really, but particularly hypnotherapy for me, why it's so powerful. So the reason we will stay forever in counselling if we're trying to release really deep-rooted, symptoms, traumas, whatever it may be, issues, is because the talking therapy is only ever going to work at that conscious level. We're talking from a conscious mind point of view. With deep-rooted trauma, let's talk about trauma specifically, that is going to be deep-rooted in the subconscious. The root cause of our symptoms, of our issues, is going to sit within the subconscious mind. So we need to be able to get in there to identify what's happening, but actually also to then start resolving it. So talking therapies, we're working with the conscious mind. With hypnotherapy and other subconscious therapies, we're actually able to communicate with the subconscious to work out, those points that we need to work with and then resolve, and how to resolve them as well. That's why. So when we're working, what happens when we experience something traumatic, even if it's just a single event, that can have a massive knock-on effect for the rest of our lives until we get to that point of resolution. And until, like me, we've had enough of having enough of everything, got to that desperation point of I'm so done with this. I don't want to live like this anymore within my life. So with subconscious work, you can go in and talk to the subconscious directly. Now, a lot of the time, and it was also my case, we don't know why we have the blocks, why we have the issues that we have. So the subconscious is super, super, super clever, okay? So it will help you to identify exactly where the problem sits so that you can then continue to work through it, work through the suppressed emotions, bring those out, allow them to come out of your body, which is really important as well, because otherwise your body will be, sick, will be poorly from this toxic energy. So it allows us to go in, identify what the problem is, but then correct it as well, which is why this whole process is so, so, so much quicker than having to, and effective, than sitting in a counselling session or a coaching session for months and months, if not years and years. I know people that have spent decades in counselling, and it will have helped to a certain extent, don't get me wrong, I'm never poo-pooing it, but to really get those really powerful transformations, we need to work with the root cause, which that is just not going to be able to do for you. So this is why people end up in weekly sessions for years, for decades, or monthly sessions, or whatever it may be. We just don't need to do that. Okay, so if any of this resonates, if you're having issues, if you're traumatized, then of course give me a shout. If you are feeling kind of stuck, broken, desperate, those kind of feelings, you don't entirely know why, then you could well be traumatized. A lot of people are traumatized. Most people are traumatized. Most people don't know it necessarily, or a lot of people don't know it necessarily. So if you're in that space, if you're stuck, there will be a subconscious block there somewhere. Give me a call. I will put a link to my free discovery call in the comments below, and give me a shout. We can then, on this free call, we can actually identify where your most prominent blocks are, and then so we can start. Then I can point out to you where you need to focus next on your next part of your journey, your healing journey, your work that you're doing. So give me a shout if this resonates. If you are in that space of, feeling like you've been trying to help yourself for an incredibly long time and not actually getting anywhere, then you could well be in the wrong therapy or the wrong space for what you actually need. Okay, which again, is not because people aren't trying to help you. It's just that you haven't found the right thing yet. And as I say, that was absolutely my background, and that's why I felt so desperate as well. I spent years, just so many years, trying to work out how to help myself, which is why this education piece is so key for me. So give me a shout, drop me a line, drop me a DM if you want to, drop me a comment in the link below, book a call, and I will happily have a free chat with you to just start to identify where those blocks are so that you can start moving forward in life.